Hello everyone, welcome to Flick Sports. Today, we are going to tell you about the NFL players who went to jail. Let's begin. 10 NFL players currently rotting in jail and the reasons why. Kellen Winslow II. Kellen Winslow 11 is a former professional football player who is mainly recognized for his work as a tight end in the National Football League. The Cleveland Browns drafted Winslow with the 6th overall pick in the NFL draft in 2004, and he played 4 seasons for them. During his professional career, he's been named in the Pro Bowl and played for other teams such as the New England Patriots, New York Jets, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The last time Winslow played in the NFL was in 2013, though he did try to return later on. However, that was before he was hit with plenty of charges. As it turns out, Winslow has quite a rap sheet. Between 2014 and 2018, he's been arrested for drug possession, first-degree burglary, and assault amongst other horrible allegations, unlike the weird football player. At the end of this video, that is behind bars for doing some bizarre and nasty things for a cult of which he was a member. In 2019, however, he was jailed after being charged with 2 counts of lewd conduct, battery, willful cruelty, and assault. So despite being acquitted on some of the previous charges, it was announced that Winslow had to be retired in the light of the latest offenses. He then pled guilty to the charges, and in exchange, he was sentenced to 14 years in prison instead of a life sentence in March of 2021. Sam Hurd is best known for playing for the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys in the National Football League. He was basically living the life that many football players can only dream of having. All that changed in 2011 when he was charged with distributing illicit substances. As a result of a thorough investigation, his phone number was traced back to a known drug dealer's phone. Not only that, but Hurd was allegedly the leader of a full-on drug distribution operation that moved a massive volume of substances at an alarmingly fast rate. He pled not guilty and was initially freed on bond, but it appears he didn't learn his lesson as he breached his bail conditions by failing 2 drug tests. Hurd was sentenced to 15 years behind bars in 2013 and is due to be released in 2025. As far as his life in prison goes, the football star has reportedly been keeping himself busy. He completed business and typing classes, basketball officiating, as well as the basics of sports injury training. The limited edition Boggled merch just dropped on our stores, so after the video, head over to the store and grab yours using the link at the end of the video, or one just below this video in the description area. Tayvon Boykin is a former quarterback who's best known for his time with the Seattle Seahawks. He was a promising athlete until his career came to an abrupt end because of some shocking allegations made against him. The former NFL star had previously been arrested for assaulting a patrol officer, public intoxication, resisting arrest, and possession of controlled substances, so he was no stranger to legal issues. But things took a darker turn when his girlfriend accused him of a domestic violence incident that ended severely. As a result, he was charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. While he was already in custody, he received additional charges, such as tampering with witnesses on a misdemeanor theft. Boykin was sentenced to 3 years behind virus and is scheduled to be released in 2023. Arthur Ernest Schleicher is a former quarterback who spent 4 seasons in the National Football League with the Colts franchise. The Colts selected him 4th overall in the 1982 NFL Draft, and he played for them in Baltimore and Indianapolis. Though he only appeared in 13 games during his time with the NFL, he had more success in the Arena Football League and was even voted most out of a player. His professional football career was cut short, however, due to a gambling addiction that has brought him problems with the law for nearly 5 decades. Schleicher has committed over 20 felonies throughout the years, according to his own account. He squandered most of his NFL and Arena League earnings with his addiction and stole and scammed money from both strangers and friends. Whenever he ran out of money to maintain his gambling, he also passed bad checks to casinos back. When personal checks were still accepted, he'd send a check to the casino and then gamble with the money, hoping to win enough to pay the casino back and get the profits, but he practically always lost. He's estimated to have stolen about $1.5 million, if not more, over the years. For multiple offenses, including fraud and theft, Schleicher has been in and out of prison for many years. He's currently serving 10 years in prison and is due to be released no earlier than September of 2021. Dave Megan, a running back for the New England Patriots and New York Giants, has a solid NFL career between 1989 and 1998. He's received 2 Pro Bowls and 3 All-Pro selections, and has even won a Super Bowl title in the Super Bowl 25 during his time with the Giants. However, he's also made a name for himself thanks to numerous problems with the law during his career as well as after his retirement, from multiple assault allegations to battery. He's committed some pretty serious crimes over the years. However, due to the latest incident that involved burglary and criminal indecent conduct, he received a 30-year sentence in 2010. His earliest possible release is 2034, though he has collected various disciplinary violations during his time in prison, so he might end up serving the full sentence after all. Darrell Henley used to be a cornerback in the NFL and had a promising career ahead of him. Many would even say he had it all. But that was until he had a major run-in with the law because of drugs. Let's take a look at Henley's rise. And Fall Henley was a stand-up football player at UCLA and went on to play with the Los Angeles Rams. He played in 76 games and accumulated 12 interceptions during his career. However, everything came crashing down in '95 when he was convicted on drug-related charges and handed a 20-year prison sentence just 6 years after entering pro football in the NFL draft in 1989. However, the problems didn't end there, as Henley was later found guilty of attempting to take down a witness and the sentencing judge. As a result, he's currently serving 41 years in prison. Eric Naposki. Eric Naposki is a former linebacker who became known for playing with the Indianapolis Colts and New England Patriots during the late 1980s. He also spent 4 seasons with the Barcelona Dragons and has played in the World League of American Football between '88 and '97. But apart from his professional football career, he's also recognized for committing a horrible crime. Allegedly, Napolsky conspired with his lover, Nanette Johnson, to take down her boyfriend, William McLaughlin, with the purpose of collecting his life insurance. The victim was murdered in his home in 1994, but the former NFL player was only arrested in 2009. Though after an investigation that spanned over 15 years, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole in 2012. However, there is some controversy surrounding the case. He was reportedly convicted on circumstantial evidence, as there were no eyewitnesses' fingerprints, DNA, and the weapon was never found. Napolsky has always maintained his innocence and has appealed his conviction. Keith Wright. Keith Wright was a promising talent who was headed for NFL glory for serving as a defensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Detroit Lions. However, Wright did not become a household name, as he only played a few seasons in the NFL and saw very little playing time over the period of several years and was released for good. In fact, he's probably more known for a string of heinous crimes that he committed after his NFL career came to an end. In 2011, Wright was detained on suspicion of assault and 3 home invasions. In 2012, he was convicted on 19 charges, which included kidnapping, false imprisonment, armed robbery, and first-degree burglary, among other shocking crimes. He was sentenced to a total of 234 years and 8 months in prison. Wright's prison sentence is probably the longest of all convicted athletes in the history of professional sports, so he's got that going for him. Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith was once known as a defensive and deserving of a first-round NFL draft selection in 1990. He spent 6 seasons with the NFL and became recognized for playing for the Oakland Raiders. He amassed 190 tackles and 57.5 sacks before deciding to retire, to the surprise of many, in 1997. In 2011, Smith was charged with the homicide of his friend Mario Ponce, but with an 8-4 decision in favor of guilt, the jury deadlocked in the case. However, while awaiting retrial in 2012, Smith made the news for some horrific accusations. It was suspected that he had involved in 3 more homicides. In 2015, he was arrested and later convicted of 3 counts of murder with special circumstances of kidnapping and torture. He's currently serving 3 consecutive life sentences with no chance of parole. Robert Roser. Now the following story may be the most bizarre of all them. Robert Roser may sound unfamiliar to some people because he only played a few games during his time with the NFL and he never really found nationwide fame there. So in the 1980s, he decided to join the Nation of Yahweh, a religious movement that's been dubbed a cult. It was founded and led by Yahweh Ben, Yahweh who had plenty of run-ins with the law himself. As part of the initiation process, Roser took the lives of multiple people in order to please the leader. He was ultimately arrested for this, and he later turned state's evidence in return for a 22-year sentence. He was released on parole after serving only 10 years. However, the story doesn't end there. Nearly 3 years after being set free, he found himself in legal trouble again. This time, it was because he bounced checks. As a result, in 2001, he was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison because this conviction came under the 3-strike law for repeat offenders. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.